Commission meeting on Thursday, November 18th to order. Would you like to call the roll, please, Katie?
Sure. Liz Lasky,
Present.
Tim O'Connor, absent. John Veach,
Here.
Karen Peltola, Kelly Greavy,
Here.
Lainey Rosga,
Here.
Karen Mao.
Here.
Okay.
And the two absent were excused.
Okay, got it.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda approved. Motion to approve the minutes. Has anybody had a chance? And the only thing, and that may have been my fault, there was three absences, and they all notified me they were all excused. So those were excused absences, may have been my fault.
Okay.
Any other corrections or additions to the minutes? Motion to approve the minutes if you've read them. If not, take a minute.
So moved.
Support? Any support for approving the minutes?
I'll support them.
Motion to approve the minutes from last month? All in favor?
Yes.
Motion, all in favor? Motion carried. Any citizens or public comment at this time? Okay, citizen public comment or correspondence. Linda?
Well, I gave everybody a letter.
Come on up, Linda. Thank you.
I'm so not good at this.
We're a pretty good nice group.
I know you're pretty nice. This letter is pretty much how the Teen Center Board feels about you guys. You guys are great. You do a lot of stuff in the city. We appreciate everything you do. We have no furnace. When I talked to, Sheila had called the city, Brandon came and talked to her and said, well, we're gonna work with Custom Sheet Metal to get a plan. So at council the other night, the city manager says, well, I gotta check into this to see who's gonna pay for this. And it's like, okay, it's a city building. So since then, Jim told me that they had a meeting this morning with the city manager and said, yes, you are buying them a furnace. Because I came for support. And I know you guys will support me. I have other people to go to in the community too, because we absolutely need a furnace. We can't skate without a furnace. They brought us 4 heaters and leave them run 24/7. I wouldn't do that in my house. But the girls are turning them on when they leave, so nothing freezes yet. So we just have to wait and see how long it takes for Custom to come through with this. The furnace is in the ceiling. I never in my whole life heard of that. So they'll have to decide if they can do that again or if they can do it downstairs. And we have a utility room on the end of the building. It can go in there if need be. Since I typed this letter, I found out that there's a Sands Control Board meeting on the 30th of November. And we were led to believe until I talked to Jim that they would make the decision as to who was going to pay for the furnace. Because they seem to think they have control over that. And I'm thinking, you can think all you want. But that's not really true either. So hopefully we are all set. If something falls through with the city, I'll be coming probably to Liz, because you're the head of this board right now, for an open letter of support. I'm going to go to the steelworkers. I'm going to go to the ARC. Staircase has already stepped up and said, yes, they'll support us. And I have probably 300 people in the city alone that will write a letter of support for us. So
Okay.
I don't waste no time. I've never been one to sit back and see if my window is going to fall out or if the pipes are going to freeze.
Well, thank you, Linda. I think you have our support as far as I would think. It's for kids, it's used, their kids are going there every day.
Yep.
They do a great job on a minimum budget.
Yes, they do.
So, and furnaces are not like boilers. I mean, furnaces are relatively inexpensive compared to many of the expenses, so. And I don't know if we have to get bids, but maybe get 2 bids, but.
Well,
Yeah.
that's up to the city. The city says they contract with Custom.
Okay,
My husband worked with Custom at the housing when he worked there, and he said, don't do it, Linda, don't do it, because they'll replace it whether you think they should or not. But we have no control over that.
right,
And the
okay,
furnace
so
is old,
the main
so-
thing is get the heat in the building.
Get the
It's
heat
not
up.
fair to Sheila who works there, yourself who
Yes.
goes there, or definitely not to the kids. I believe that we should
Absolutely, yeah.
get the heat there,
Rita
so.
McCain is in there today with her kids, staircase. She had a big pizza party and she's giving away turkey and Thanksgiving stuff. So there's about 30 kids in there right now. And we see probably 8 to 10 moving in and out every day, all the
Okay.
time we're open. So we need that, because the alternative, like I talked to when Mayor Mack was the mayor, I don't know, I can't remember what he didn't want us to have, and I said, you want them kids to come on River Street? Because they will, they'll ride their skateboard right down River Street. There's bathrooms down there, there's stores to get into. That's a place for those kids, not River Street.
Well, that's a good, safe place. It is a
It
good
is a good safe place. Sheila and Cindy take good care of those.
Yes, they do. So you have our support, and I
Okay.
don't think it's a huge
Linda,
expense.
Should we make a motion just for?
Yes, let's make a motion of support if someone.
Did you say the space heaters are on when nobody is there?
Yes, that's what the DPW said, turn them on and leave them on. Because when I talked to Brandon, he said, I said, you know, the pipes, it's gonna get cold. He said, the pipes will freeze. Well, that's what we have the heaters for, and that's all fine and dandy, up to a certain point. I suppose if they put them far enough back from anything they have sitting, it'll be fine. Everything should be generated in the kitchen and the bathrooms because of the pipes. So we'll see. I'm hoping the weather holds.
That's been on your side.
Nice.
Yes, it has, and nothing is ever on our side.
No, that's been on your side, Linda.
In the wintertime when we should be skating, it's raining and so, but now it's on our side, so. Maybe I won't have to come back and ask for a handwritten letter, but I will if I need to, and I appreciate that,
Probably the sooner the better. Like you say, the pipes are gonna freeze. It probably isn't safe.
right?
Probably costly to run those things 24/7. I would
Well,
think.
what
Electric-
they think they're gonna save in no furnace right now, they're gonna pay out in the light bill, I'm
Yeah, the
very sure.
electric is gonna.
And the city
so-
pays the light bill, so.
And, yeah, and who pays for it may factor in at that meeting.
It may,
Set
yep.
on the
It
30th.
just may. Well, I know that the city manager was up there tonight looking. I don't know
Okay.
if he went in the ceiling or not. My husband's been up there a couple times looking at things that we needed looked at. I'm not sure, he's a businessman, I'm not sure he would know what to look for. I was a bus driver, I wouldn't know what to look for on a furnace. So, but
Linda, what time's that meeting on November 30th at?
1:30,
1:30, is it
and I
here?
believe it's here, yes.
Okay.
It's right here, it's.
I believe so, yeah. Is it? It's
Okay.
usually here, isn't it?
That I don't
It has been here in the
Okay.
past.
Yeah, but I'll find out for sure.
Okay. And it is owned, I guess, 50/50 with the school, that park.
The land is owned.
The land in this,
If you
exactly.
get technical, yes.
Yes, only the land is
Only the land.
co-owned, and, yes.
I know there was an agreement somewhere down the road, which I've only heard about, I've never seen, that the city will pay for so much and then the school will pick up part of it. But I'm thinking that must be for land. I'm not thinking it's for the city since they've done everything.
Well, the school did volunteer to pay half of the demolition cost of the tennis courts.
Yes.
And I'm sure they would pay half for the demolition of the teen center also. The little bit that I know about Mr. Stoneman is he'd like to level that building, lot it off and sell it. So, per past experience, past practice, I should say, because that's his MO.
Let's make a motion to support getting the new furnace for the teen
So
center.
moved.
Thank you.
Support?
Second.
All in favor of getting a new furnace for that teen center, recommending it to the city council or whoever makes that final, or the city manager?
Well,
The sooner the better.
Bill had a meeting this morning and the city manager said the city is paying for the furnace.
Okay,
And it's not like it's a 3-story house. Oh, you have to take a vote on it?
Yeah.
Well, you need to do that right away. Is that in your living room? But anyways, thank you.
okay. All in favor of?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hopefully, let us know how that goes.
I will, because I'll be sending council pretty soon.
Any other correspondence, or Linda, did you want to read the letter? I think you covered everything in there, right?
I think I did cover everything. I always like to write everything down because usually I get so flustered, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, correspondence. Does that include conversations or is that just written correspondence?
Probably written more like
Okay.
emails or,
I'll save it.
okay. There was a little correspondence with City Manager Bill regarding the Riverwalk, but I think we'll do that under Riverwalk update. And there was another little correspondence on the Lions Pavilion. We'll cover that with Ed Bradford under the Lions Pavilion. So moving on. Committee reports, Morton Park, the community build. You wanna report on that?
Well, I mean, we were, all of us.
All of
yeah,
them.
most all of us were there. And the Morton Park has new playground equipment and mulch and a shade structure, picnic tables, benches. But would we not consider it phase one? There's still plenty more things that need to be
Yes.
done.
Yeah, we got a bike rack. It's night and day. It finally starting to look a little bit like a park. It has a ways to go, and I think we should stick on it, but through the Minger Grant and the foundation, and it was a very worthwhile project, I think. And it was a very community-involved project. Everybody was there, the volunteers. The Parks Commission worked on it, the DPW worked on it. Linda, you were there, Jim was there, Seth was there from City Council.
Railroad.
All of the railroad, they sent 10 guys, the Marquette Rail was, sent 10 people for the entire day and bought the pizzas and they bought pop and breadsticks, so supplied the food. The DPW was there, they provided the fire pit, which was very, very nice and welcomed in the wood, and their people were there, and there was volunteers. There was someone that came, and I believe their name was Dodge from Bear Lake, but I was impressed that someone from the out county came. Ken Holman came and spent 2 days and worked his tail off. He was a wonderful volunteer for 2 days. Mike and Cindy Swanegan, there was many community members, and I know I have failed to list them all, but
How did the railroad people come to be involved?
Jen Teller had contacted them, and Jen was a former Parks Commission when this was first brought up, Morton Park, and which has been worked on for
12 years.
12 years. And she was an integral part of the initial and kept on it. And then the Marquette Rail is a neighbor, so they had a vested interest. But boy, they more than came through. And there's still work, and I believe it's Bill and Jeff, and they're working with Morton's to see about a parking lot. And the more you see, we visited some parks this weekend in Traverse City, and no matter how small a park is, you need parking and you need a parking lot. And that's one area where parking lot's gonna be very important. So I hope that they get that through. The city is working with, I believe it's Spicer is going to do the plan on the base structure, and hopefully we can get that taken care of. And there are a few more promises that we've made on that park, both to the foundation and to the citizens. And one is the
Basketball court.
basketball court. It's going to be a full court with new basketball hoops, and those were part of the expenses. So we must have those somewhere. But
And
so,
lines on the soccer field.
yes, and trees. And we are working with the Tree Commission to provide even more trees and a buffer with Morton's. So there's more yet to come. But it was a great start, and I think everybody that worked on it enjoyed it, and we like seeing. And we also did work on Duffy, which is our best park. I feel it has the most amenities right now.
And beautiful weather. We lucked out.
We did. The only thing that could have been better was this week, but the weather it was not bad.
It was cold. What do
It
you
was a little,
Cold,
but it wasn't snow or rain. Yeah, for October 30 and 31st, the weather was much better than I anticipated it would be. So yes, we did. And they also came. We had paid for 2 of the men from Game Time, Mr. Sinclair and his sons who are in the business, and they also were an integral part of the whole project. So it was a good project. We got to just keep moving forward.
They were awesome to work with.
Yeah, they were. And I think we want to see it carried to completion, and I would like to see the numbers. And Jeff said he'd provide those of where all the expenses went and where the like in-kind exchange of the city was done. And I thought we should go over that to make sure, for the grant that we followed all of their perimeters on that. Anything else on Morton? Nope. Okay, moving on. John, anything on the amphitheater? Did that study ever get?
I have not heard anything about it. Have you, Katie? No? Okay. I assume that they're still doing their investigations, so.
Okay. Park improvement plans and inventory. Don, do you want to say?
Well, that's interesting. We had a work session in August, and I passed out a few pages from some of the past studies that have been done concerning the parks and some of the master plans for the city. When I took the time to really look at what we've got in our computer system online, I found that really we don't need to do an inventory, it's already there. The most recent master plan is from 2017, and that was updated to the county plan, which is now on the website. I think it's 2022 to 2024, the Manistee County Plan. We all went together in the county to develop that plan. And that's pretty sparse as far as information. It lacks an inventory. Well, it has an inventory, but it's mostly to do with boating and things like that. But at any rate, what's interesting is to note the progress that we've made and how many improvements have actually occurred in the city. And then as I went through some of these, let's see, strategic plan for 2011 through 2012. Well, Lonnie and I had an exchange about including the elementary schools in our plan, in our inventory, and actually, and we agreed that we would include that as an addendum. In two of the studies by the city, this one is from 2011 to 2012, the strategic plan. Other parks and playgrounds are mentioned specifically. And if you go down Jefferson School, Hamlin baseball fields, etc. So these are considered part of our park system. And the other thing that I stumbled upon was 2006 to 2007 budget, special revenue funds, Riverwalk maintenance. So that was a fund established for Riverwalk maintenance. And then, the other, I'm skipping around a little bit, but if we go to this other sheet, 2011 to 2012, April 2011, city beaches, parks and recreation area goal to have the cleanest Lake Michigan public beaches and parks in Michigan. And then it outlines some specifics in that regard. And so one of the things that I suggested to Liz is that we establish committees to I had a meeting with Bill, the city manager, and we discussed a number of different things, including a pickleball court and possibly even using the existing tennis courts. And he explained to me how that just wasn't possible because he already investigated. But that aside, when we looked at the business that the 2017 is the most recent master plan, he agreed that it would not be a bad idea if we were to develop an updated master plan. And so I think he's on board with the idea, and I mentioned to Liz that it probably would be a good idea to set up some committees that could meet, discuss these things, and it would include, the capital improvement plan, maintenance, and activities. And so if people want to get on committees and they're interested in these things, then that's something that we could do. What I wanted to do before the meeting tonight was to meet with Jeff and Brandon so that I could make this proposal to them so that they wouldn't be blindsided by my suggestion. keeping in mind that all we are is a advisory committee, and nobody has to listen to us at all. But I'd be willing to do the work necessary to, evaluate where we're at, where we need to be in terms of capital improvements and stuff like that.
I like the idea of updating the 2017 city plan, because we know the 2024, the county will be asking us what the city wants, like they did before.
Right.
So that's.
It's ahead of the
like-
game.
Yeah, I like getting ahead of the game,
I
so that would be good. So, I'm, the capital improvement, just about anything.
So I'd still like to meet with Jeff and Brandon, just so that they're comfortable with so they can outline what they think the process should be in terms of at least the capital improvement and maybe even the maintenance thing and stuff like that. Because, we've made a lot of progress with our parks in this city. And a lot of it is due to the volunteers. A lot of it, let's face it, the city does the bulk of the work, and they've done a lot of major capital improvements. And we're really just looking at fine tuning things a little bit so that everybody's comfortable, and then we can satisfy as many people as possible. We're never gonna make everybody happy, but, I think if we fine tune things a little bit with committees, I don't wanna have to sit for 2-hour meetings. I can't do it.
I agree. We can get it.
But there's a lot of detail that we need to look at, There really is. And the other thing is too, I feel for, like Jeff and Bill, they've got all this stuff, and parks are just one aspect of what they do. And I'm willing to spend whatever time it takes to really get into this stuff, and because like we need to put in a pickleball court, and we need to do it fairly soon. But that's not going to be just on this by the city itself. We can get private contributions. When I was looking at this stuff, I was comparing what we do to other cities: Cadillac, Frankfurt, Ludington. Cadillac has somebody that's going to donate $100,000 for their pickleball courts. And we've got, when we built the pickleball courts out at Parkdale there, we had one fellow, Victorian Auto Sales. He donated $10,000 himself, and we raised a lot of that money. And so, we'll be able to raise quite a bit of private funding along with grants and stuff like that, but we need to, really, and I don't want to impose all this time that I think it's going to take on people who are already busy with their jobs in the city. That's my feeling.
I agree, John. Excellent. And I think the planning and the details is the secret. Even like the more your plan is, the more, like even on Morton Park, we still need to develop the rest of that plan, how that park should look. And I believe you need to know where every tree and branch is going, every detail. So I think that's true on any capital improvement,
Well, and I think if you
Not just
have
the
things
physical
outlined ahead of time and you come to an agreement, everybody's just more comfortable.
Yes, they know what's,
And if you look at, for example, back here in, where is that? Have the cleanest Lake Michigan public beaches. Now, they outlined some things that they wanted to be doing on a regular basis for maintenance. Does anybody know whether or not we're doing that? If we're on the Parks Commission, we should know whether or not they are. And so it's nothing new that we're thinking about it. This is ages-old stuff. And it's just something that falls between the cracks, and it's time to start.
I think we have the requirements or what we're trying to do. Our own bylaws say improve, maintain, protect, and preserve.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure we're doing those things, and that's maintenance. So, okay, do you want to talk about the committees now, or do you want to do it under new business?
Well, what did you think about committees?
I think we should form committees. I think it's,
What I was thinking is that the committees would be looking at the activities. First of all, where are we at now? Where would we like to be? And how much is it gonna cost? And how's it gonna fit into the budget? Rather than having a separate budget committee. Now, if you wanna have a separate budget committee to put all the parts together maybe, but I think that the people that are working on, well, we should do this and we should do that, should also be thinking about how much it's gonna cost and where the money
exactly.
is.
And they're working on the budget now, so we need to have it done before they meet. If we have any ideas for capital improvements or anything that we would like to suggest, it should be done early rather than later.
Well, then the people that have to take care of this stuff, where the city employees are not gonna think, well, you guys are asking for the moon, you know? No, we've got to figure it out, and, you know, well, you don't agree, okay, let's see how we can get this done.
Okay, well, let's divide up some of that stuff right now. We have it later, but let's do it right now. So we're saying budget, let's just list the things and see if anybody's interested in any of these. Budget, capital improvements. Maintenance. And maintenance isn't telling them what to do, make that, it's just that what we see, sometimes day to day in a park, we see something that needs more than someone else might see it. It's not telling them how to do their job on make that.
Well, exactly, and also, I refer to this from 2011, clean beaches weekly, twice per week, inspect beaches daily during summer, inspect Riverwalk weekly. I mean, does anybody on our commission know whether or not any of that stuff is happening? I mean, this isn't something
Right.
that we set out as a.
No, I don't know that.
And these people that set these goals out, man, they spend a lot of time doing that stuff.
And money, we spent money for the plan.
And when I was on the DDA way back, before anybody here was born, we spent a lot of hours trying to figure things out. And, most of those studies just sat on the shelf. And I'd like to take the work that everybody did and just, like I said, we're just fine tuning. That's all, we're fine tuning.
And like you said, we may have ideas, there might be a grant, there might be fundraising, there might be donations. We might be able to come up with some money and outside of what the city has to offer. What do you think? But budget, does anybody want to work on that?
Oh, yeah.
When you say budget, are you talking about this budget cycle?
Yes.
Between now and when it starts in January?
Yes, that would be.
No, it starts in July.
Yeah. The
Oh, when they
fiscal-
start the discussions,
Oh, yeah,
January,
right.
February, is
Yes,
that,
yeah.
is
It
that the
starts
budget
in
you're talking
December.
about, or are you talking about?
Yes, right, John? You're talking about this budget year,
Oh, yeah.
that you're planning at this,
Yeah, I
get
mean,
this
yeah,
year,
yeah.
probably beginning through January.
Wouldn't budget apply to all these capital improvements, activities and maintenance?
Right, that's what, yeah.
Yes,
So that would be part of what the capital improvement committee would do. is-
Versus its own committee,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I'm.
well, okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you want?
okay.
Well, okay.
I
Capital.
guess I'm interested in capital improvement.
Me too.
Who said me too?
Me, Kelly.
Oh.
Anybody else? John, you want to be on that? Capital
I-
improvements, or, I guess we're saying, what Laney's saying, don't have a budget, but I
Well,
think,
no, we have a
Overall
budget.
budget.
Individually.
yeah, you have an
Yes.
overall, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe someone, I think you still have a budget committee that, the capital improvement,
we come up with some numbers.
yes, and then the other one said, how does this fit into the overall, can we get,
Well, I don't think,
Jeff.
yeah, I don't think
Okay.
that's our decision.
no, it's not our decision, it's only a recommendation, it's definitely not ours.
I'm interested in maintenance too.
Maintenance,
I'm interested in activities.
good.
That was a lot of fun this summer.
I think, she's not here, but let's put Karen Peltola on that.
Yeah.
She likes that.
She has the ideas, I tell you, she's She's
know.
got ideas.
Can't shut it off.
No, and she goes places, which we all do, but I love it.
Yeah.
She goes places and comes back with, well, they're doing this here and we need to do this. You know, so yeah, she's got to be on activities. I'd like to be on, I think the capital improvements too, but I'll do maintenance. Kelly, we need one more on that. And then we've got Tim. We'll find out where Tim wants to be.
We have 3 committees, maintenance, capital improvements, and activities.
Yeah.
Karen. And then, where should we put Tim? We'll ask him, but suggest that he goes somewhere. We can ask him. Okay, so then we should be meeting probably before the next meeting. There's 3 or less on each one of these, so we can meet and just have a, so I guess call your group if Karen's up here or, and it, like the activities, you don't,
What do you want to be on?
Oh,
He's on all of them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
and the budget, yeah, not all of them. We can get you involved in all of them. Okay, and then let's have a report back at the next meeting, and that won't be till January, so we have time. We have plenty of time, and so in lieu of our December meeting, meet at least once with your group. Okay?
There's no December meeting.
There is no December, so in lieu of that meeting, get
Right.
together and do some work on this. That's fair.
So I guess I'd be looking to John to reach out to me, because you want to talk to Brandon and Jeff first.
Right.
So before we schedule a meeting, I guess I'm expecting you to notify Kelly and I when you're ready for us. Would that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So sorry, who's on maintenance? Kelly?
Kelly and myself.
So just the
And
3 of
we
us
can
on
meet.
the,
That's all it should be, so we're not a
on the
quorum.
yeah.
Well, there's 4 on capital improvements right now, right?
Well, that's a problem.
Yes,
Right.
I can get off it. We'll have, I'll get off that for right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be, so there's just 3 or 2 on everything. We do not have 4 on anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that? Good job, John. Thank you.
Well,
I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think this other thing is very interesting. The other paper that you provided, all the parks that we use in the city that are not owned by the city. And I think we take that for granted until they're gone. You know, it's like, oh, this is great. We use all these parks, we treat them like our parks, our kids play on these parks, the MRA uses these parks for practice fields and for games, and it's all great until they're no longer available to us.
That was included in 2 studies. And the other comment that I'd like to make is that I think our website really holds up well to other cities. The only one that was better than ours was Cadillac, and they had an award from the, well, it's Canada and the United States. There's an organization of professionals who develop the budgeting process, or anyway, they got a national award for that. And when you look at their website, you can see why. And the other thing that I would like to read from their site is about the budgeting process. Throughout the 6-month budgeting process, there are opportunities for citizen input through work sessions and public hearings. That's Cadillac. And so we have the same thing available to us. Well, thank you.
Well, and it's probably, maybe even put it out on the webpage if somebody has something that they'd like to see put into a park, or if they have an idea for the park, you know, and I think Kelly McCall would do that through the city, put it out maybe on Facebook or whatever. Don't hesitate to call. Sometimes they have great ideas, you know, and we've talked about that tetherball. It's like putting one in Morton's or wherever, but it's a no-brainer. Those aren't expensive. They're physical exercise, they're outdoors, and kids and adults like them. So that's things like that. Someone may come up with some good ideas, even for activities. Why don't we do this in the park? So I think ask the public for their suggestions. Okay, the kickball team. Karen's not here, but I think that will be a go again next year. I don't think there's anything that we've tried this year that we said that was really a bust, let's not do it. I mean, we may come to that at some point on some activity, and that's okay, but right now, so far, they all seem to be good. The grants, I think we covered that, other than I think the closure would be to see where the money went on that. The Minger grant, through the foundation, which Sarah, again, thank you for that grant. That was a very worthwhile grant. It made a real difference, and that park would not have been accomplished without the Minger grant. So thank you for your support and money that you gave to the city. So it was good, so we appreciate it. So, and then the Riverwalk update. Bill Gamble wrote, I asked him what's going on. The Riverwalk one, Kelly and I had gone to a couple meetings back when, and then we had not heard too much. Where's that other sheet on his? He said, here's the update. We've been working with the West Shore Community College to finalize the area behind the college because we need to have the permanent easement with the college finalized as well. And the project manager from Spicer wrote to the person at West Shore Community College, based on our discussions last week at the work session, we have created an updated sketch for your review. We are currently working on putting together cost estimates for each of the elements in the sketch. I'm also reviewing the easement information for the site to see what additional easement we would need to construct the elements. Because we created the buffer between the overlook deck and the parking lot, I think the only area we would need additional easement would be for the pedestrian access walk from River Street. And this is regarding the West Shore Community College property. I'll work on getting this information to you by the end of the day tomorrow to give you time to review it prior to your board meeting. Let me know if you have any questions. And that was from Shane Brennan. And then there was a sketch, just basically a sketch of what will be done on that project. So I can pass that around. And I can't remember what was the total grant money on that. Lainey, do you remember that? That Riverwalk.
Wasn't it $1.2 million, something like that?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So,
And then Jeff was going with the latest round, right, to present again, the last.
well, that's that other Riverwalk. This is the Riverwalk on the south side. The north side is a different one. This one we've
Right.
already received, that they're working on it, and I guess it's gonna commence, and somewhere he said that in March of next year, they're projecting that it would all get going like in March. So, which they must have got it, they did, Jeff said, get an extension. It was supposed to be started in September, and then they changed from Fishbeck to Spicer, and then they must have gotten an extension
Okay, it's
on what's gonna be done there, and so, but I've never seen, we walked it a few times, but then we've never seen the whole schematic of what it's going to look like. So I think that we should see that. I think that we should, so Kelly and I were on that, we should go down and see if that's available to look at.
Yeah.
Special awning, yeah, seat.
We should,
Covered seating, the little colorful.
well, that's what we've got to see, it's kind of a sketch. It's very hard to read, and we should go down and look, and maybe for the next January meeting, maybe someone from Spicer would come and give us an update, show us a large plan in the drawing, because I think sometimes we don't see the whole drawing, and I don't think a sketch, like even on Morton Park, the sketch is not a drawing. We didn't have the actual, how high everything was going to be and where the trees were planted and stuff. I think we need to have more of a working plan rather than a rendering. Okay, so Kelly and I will get together and see if we can, and hopefully attend a meeting. If anybody else wants to come look at that, give a call, we can do that. Okay. New business. The parks, goals, the budget, and the committees for next year. We set up committees in the budget. Are there some goals other than that we should have for next year?
We'll develop those in our
Okay,
committee meetings.
okay. I agree. Any winter activities, the maintenance goals for 2024 within each park, we'll take care of that. The winter activities,
Wish we knew we were gonna get snow.
yeah,
I gave information to the lady who did our stargazing. She was interested in doing something maybe with Sands Park, and I don't know if she got in touch with you, Linda, but I gave her your information and email and phone number, and I saw her once and she said she'd been really busy and she just hadn't gotten to it. That was a couple weeks ago, but
the winter sky at night would be a perfect, I mean, you could do it at 6 o'clock. I mean, it,
oh my gosh.
it doesn't have to be a late night event. Do it before we went to bed. So that would be a fun thing, and it would be fun at Sands Park maybe, because you could have people would see the inside of the building, and we'd probably have heat by then, so you could go inside and get warm.
And hot chocolate, we have hot chocolate.
We'd have hot chocolate heat,
More about that.
got that popcorn machine, we could make that fun. So I think that would be a good activity. The one I tried to get a hold of, and he never has called me back, but I'll keep trying. Several years ago, we made snowshoes down at Ludington State Park. Our family did, and it was they were those Iverson snowshoes from Shingleton, the wooden one, the old, and you did it with macrame, but it looked like catgut when you were done. They were you could hang them above your fireplace.
Sorry, catgut?
That's what, the old ones look like guts.
They were made with
But
lead.
the old ones were like leather. But these were made to look that way, but they weren't really, we didn't use those. No. But they taught that at Ludington State Park. It was a very worthwhile project, and there were usable snowshoes, and you put like the Sickens product on them, and back then, but now they're probably, they could be cost prohibitive, but that would be, it just took 2 nights, but it was fun to do, and then after that, they had snowshoeing through Ludington State Park. So it was, you make the snowshoes, 1 pair or whatever, and then you have the opportunity, they're yours. So I don't know, it depends.
Does
on
Big M still have a cross-country group supporting it?
I assume so. I haven't been involved in years.
Because I wonder if it'd be worthwhile reaching out to them to see if they wanted to set up a route if we ever got snow, like at one of the parks.
That's-
Isn't that what they do with the non-motorized?
You can't snowshoe there though, right, John, or
They
can you?
can't.
Oh, yeah, they have a snowshoe trail.
Do they?
Yeah, and they have skate skiing which is,
Yeah.
and then regular inline cross-country too.
Well, that's, okay, so then you just hit on something else. My niece does that up in Onekma. She offers teaching that skate skiing. I wonder if she would ever do that. That's a whole nother activity.
Oh, that would be.
That would be, and
Yeah.
her and her daughter do it. I wonder if they would do that. And we could do that out at the non-motorized, just have
Yeah.
us Saturday afternoon where it was
Mhm.
teaching that. That's, okay, that could be a winter activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would probably be the best place to do that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, I've always wondered if we could put a couple little trails down at the disc golf. It's so close, it's right in town,
Right.
you know.
Snowshoe from basket to basket.
Yeah,
I put a little trail in where the high school is, and that was nice. The only problem was that it either got to be below 0 on the weekends or rain, and just kind of gave up on it after a while. I had a snowmobile and a sled to drag behind and set the track and everything.
really?
Yeah, but it just kind of.
The weather is too,
But there's nice terrain there for that.
well, let's see if we could get a couple, that would be 3 activities, and that would be kind of fun. Snowshoe making, and we'll see how the cost is, because that would be the skate ski and then the stargazing. Is there any, the speaker was fun last year. Is there anybody else that would be interesting to come in to speak on something about parks? We did the history.
Mark Benner coming.
Yeah, Mark or anybody else, anybody that has something.
I'm gonna ask Mark if he has anything else. up his sleeve.
Or ask for more in-depth on, maybe on a certain park, like First Street or something. He might have a whole history on it.
Yeah,
Even if it's just a half hour, that would be nice, you know.
that was nice in
15 minutes.
January, something to do.
Yeah.
It
You
was.
know, that
Yeah.
was nice, just,
Who's gonna contact you?
round two, or whatever we wanna call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just the continuation, because even a review of a lot of the same, you know,
An encore presentation.
an encore, because it's hard to remember all that even. It's
I thought it
hard
was
to-
interesting there were parks in the city that are no longer exist.
Right. I go
I
down that
had
hill
no
on
clue
First Street,
on
and
that. Yeah.
I think, oh my gosh, there used to be a cannon up there and stairs. And
Yeah.
Yes, and even the stairs, because every block had a set of stairs from up above that came down. There was one on every single block, and I remember that as a kid, and those stairs are all gone now. So, you know, that was
Just like
city
the old
property.
hospital.
Yes, yeah, like
There were
those.
stairs on that hill.
There were stairs on that hill,
Well,
and that,
they're still there, kind of.
and the hill was used, yeah, just a lot of those little things all over town,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, thank you. Contact him, and something in January, February would be very nice.
Okay.
Liz,
Yes.
there could be something like that, could be an activity in the teen center at night. If you folks wanted to come in there, just have to let Sheila or I know.
Okay,
Because it's warm.
there's
and
nice tables there.
We have tables.
Yeah, the
You
light,
know, give it some exposure.
yes, I think I like meeting in a park or something like that. I think that's a great idea. Thank you, Linda, that'd be good. Yeah, good. Just even, and he could really talk about the history of the Sands Park thing too, that Louis B. Sands. You know, I mean, even just more than the parks, I mean, Louis B. Sands, what he did for the whole community. So that could be an interesting part of that. Whatever he comes up with, he's better at that than me. Okay, do we want to talk about any of the summer 2024 events?
yes,
Okay,
if we could.
yes.
I don't know if last time I told you I talked to Angie Fisher from the
Yes, you do.
library, and
Yes.
she said that come the first of the year is when she starts planning out all of her activities, and we could start brainstorming
Oh,
after the first of the year for the summer
Okay,
story times in the parks, because she's up for that.
so if anybody has any ideas of something that would be,
Yeah, or themes or
yeah, something,
locations, that kind of thing. So.
okay.
And the other one was movies in the park. I know that didn't get done last year, but I was looking at prices just curiously because I know there's a cost of licensing, which I think you looked into that, didn't you?
Yes.
I don't remember what that cost was, but
It wasn't too, you'd have to have a sponsorship, but it wasn't too crazy. It's based on the number watching the movie, which we had no idea.
and then I was like, well, that's just the licensing for the movie. There's also equipment and sound system and a screen and projector and whatever else is needed. And I found a Epic Outdoor Cinema that actually has packages of everything you would need to have movies in the park. This is for, they used it at Disneyland. They've used this company at the Air and Space Museum at Smithsonian. So they're pretty highly recommended, but their minimum is $7,300 for their basic system, and their more expensive goes up to $15,000.
Do you own the system?
Yes, this is
Okay.
not a rental, is my understanding. It's
You
a,
own it?
maybe
purchase
file
with
it
a
away
3-year
under
warranty.
Capital improvements.
Yes.
well, yeah, I was wondering if
Yeah,
we
if-
could present, if we could get numbers together and present it to Jeff before
Right.
January comes around, would that be something that we could ask for support on for next summer,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yes. I mean, you can ask. All you can do is ask
Right,
and just see.
because it's pricey, but I mean.
It's pricey, but you'd have the equipment.
Right, and then after that, it's just the, whatever that licensing, and they license per individual movie per specific night.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not like a big license where you get everything you
No,
want.
it isn't. And it's like the older movies, which would be fine, you know, we're thinking of kids, free family fun, that we're not, the Vogue does an excellent job of first-run movies. We're not looking to
Right.
compete with that. We're
And
looking.
Swank?
Yes, I think
They do a lot of that first run movies, but there are some others I found too that do more of.
Swank will do the old ones for not too much money.
Do they? Okay,
Yeah,
okay, because I
that's what
found
she
a
told
few
me.
competitors too. to look
That
at.
just do the older, already been seen by many, but it's fun outdoors on a beach.
Right, because we don't want to compete with the Vogue and
We
take.
don't want
away
to
their,
compete and
um,
we don't want to pay that much.
Right.
So it's just a whole different thing. It's just sitting on the beach in a blanket, watching it with a
Right, or
picnic
at the
basket.
Memorial Park
Yes,
with the,
that'd be excellent there.
what do you call it?
Kind of,
Banjo, the
Yeah.
banjo.
Yes, the band shell with the hill with the different
Yep,
yeah.
levels. with-
And there again, we could rotate those in various parks.
that's true.
So, in Duffy, we could do it all over. That would be fun. That would be great. Anything else? And for the next year's activities?
There would be more if Karen was here too.
I know.
Well, we've talked about the kayak launch or the kayak rental thing. Maybe we could look into that more in depth.
I think that's a good idea because as far as I know, there's not too many places there's a kayak rental, I believe, out by Big Al's.
Hotel, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like down by the beach or, yeah.
maybe, I guess, maybe the easiest would be for a remote launch. But maybe we can look into that a little bit more. And I haven't talked to my contact for the plein air and the art drop donations. The painting?
No, the.
Plein air.
What is it?
Yeah, you just set up your easel someplace and paint.
Like on the Riverwalk. They
Yeah.
do it like in Baltimore, they do it in many,
Yeah.
they do it in, it came from
They do it on the
France, it's
Lebanon
plain,
Peninsula.
that's French. And then they just, when you're walking along the Riverwalk, there's just artists sitting there, like drawing. And it's so cool to see, it's just like something to do on the Riverwalk. The artist
So,
is just
I
sitting
think
there painting.
Thanksgiving, I'll be able to talk to.
We saw a family doing it in Birmingham, they had one lake in Birmingham, but,
You could have Bob Ross all up and down the river.
yeah, exactly, I like it. But they had a family and each little kid was painting and the kids were so engaged. I looked at that and I thought, holy cow, this is a neat family activity. Each kid was doing something and it was just like and they're looking out at a lake. I mean, we're looking at bridges and old buildings and our Riverwalk was so much more beautiful than what those kids were drawing. That ours is a natural, so. Okay, anything else on that? Next thing is the Lions Pavilion. For the year, the revenue for 2022 was 4,100, for 2023, 4,400 for a total for 2 years since we've been collecting of $8,500. So it is carried over and Ed said yes, correct? Everybody saw that email?
Does it have to be approved by council?
I thought that wasn't that approved by council that it was, we gotta make sure on that it's carried over and that it can be used for the improvements towards the Lions Pavilion. And the only expenses out of that were $1,115, $165 for the display case, and $950 for the planters, which leaves $7,385. So I think we should look at what that pavilion needs and what we would suggest
Yeah.
to use that money for.
I think if we can get more detail on that, it would help us to figure out what we should be doing moving forward for the pavilion.
Is there any kind of a feedback form that people can fill out after they've rented? Katie, like,
That's a good idea.
this was the purpose, this is what I would like to see, this is what would have made it better for us, or what are we doing right? Is there any kind of feedback form that people can?
Not that I know of.
That's a good idea, actually.
That is something we could create with the city's blessing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because,
Like something to hand out along with the application maybe, that they could,
The
Send
application
back- I
still
don't
isn't
know.
online, right?
Right. Maybe we can use that money to get it online.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
no, that would be a good thing.
yeah.
Well, that's a good idea, but would that be in the maintenance area?
Which,
the idea about a form, you know, the people on maintenance maybe develop that form.
The feedback form
Yeah,
or the online form? We need both.
either way, both,
Yeah, we
whatever
need
you,
both.
yeah, I mean,
Okay,
and then the people in that committee just decide, well,
I
they're
can
gonna do it or they're not gonna do it.
I can talk to Kelly McCall, she's good on that, and just see.
Do we want more detail?
Yeah, let's get a little more detail on that and just see who's renting it and then those porta potties, we're still, I think, and Katie, you can, I can ask Jeff on this. We saw, we went out to the end on Old Mission and they had like 7 porta johns and they were all gray. And we seem to get these odd colors and we're still getting, and I don't know why that just bugs me, where was it? I think we gotta just make sure next year that they're all the same color in the gray or the tan, but not to have any, you know, we're not decorating with those porta johns, we're just using them, and we want them all uniform, and they gotta be neutral. And that's not a big deal, but all those little things make a difference. Anything else that we wanna do for the Lions Pavilion? I said that we decorate those planters, we're gonna leave them out this winter, we're gonna put greens in them, and
We need to paint.
we need to paint. And the other thing that needs painting are those little, what do you call them?
Cabanas.
The cabanas.
And the community really does want that foliage gone, so they can sit in their cars and look at the water.
Well, this might be good. Okay, foliage gone, painting the cabanas.
And it does need to be regraded. I know Jeff and I talked about that before, but,
And maybe what are the grills all like? Are the grills still,
yeah, I don't know.
we'll have to just look at those and see. That painting, I don't know if we want to do that or he wants to do, but that's something on the maintenance thing. Those cabanas,
They talked about spraying those roofs instead of
yes,
paintbrushes, that would be.
yes,
It'd be so much easier to
be so
spray.
much better,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
But that could be part of the 8,000.
Another question. Do you folks get rental money from Lions in your budget, or does it go into the city budget?
That's just what we're talking about. It goes into the city budget as far as we know, but we actually get to use it, and when I say we, the city gets to use it for the Lions Pavilion. So the money is supposed to go back right into that area to improve that. Since people are paying to rent it, we're trying to keep it up. And so we did this year buy the planters, and they were self-watering planters. Karen Peltola picked them out through Weese's. They were perfect planters, and they were self-watering, and I went and I was gonna put pumpkins in them and stuff. They still look great. They look great. I mean, we're gonna take them out and put greens in them, but that self-watering, and now Brandon emptied them so that they won't freeze with the water in them, but they were expensive, but worthwhile. They were very worthwhile. And then we bought a new, kind of display case. So, and
That's
that,
great that that's money's going back.
it is going back, and that's what we were just thinking, if there are any other suggestions that it could go into.
There was talk too about trying to save it up for a match money for a bathroom down there.
Right.
Which is really
Needed.
expensive.
That would be
Yeah.
years and years, yeah.
Needed and expensive.
That's expensive. That's a whole nother.
How long would it take to save up that amount per year for?
I don't think we'll be on the Parks Commission then.
Yeah.
Or alive.
Yeah, or life.
She mentioned our new development director showed me pictures of, she had visited a wedding out of town, and they had brought in porta-johns for the wedding, and I have seen those, and they're quite expensive, but she's, when people rent the Lions Pavilion, we should almost hand them this information. They were like the marble, they had hardwood floors in them, they were like gorgeous. You could go into there in a wedding gown, or your grandmother.
It's like a trailer.
It's like a trailer, but it's a real legit, you don't know you're in a porta-john, and so.
Did you say you could go in there and lay down?
No, in a wedding gown, John.
You could go in there and lay
You
down.
could lay down.
I even have my hearing aids on too.
I said you could go in there in a wedding gown, because I've seen several weddings down there, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope she doesn't have to use the restroom, because that's a little awkward in a dirty porta-john, so, yeah. But we do have the other ones at the fish cleaning station, but that's still not up hardly. So, okay. next thing on here is memorials, and I keep going back to that because my one question is, and I think it was said that once you buy those benches, it's kind of like forever. And I'm not sure that it should be that way. I think you give them a limit, but you buy a bench for $350 or a chair or something that you could put the plaque, and I almost think once a year, we should put something in the paper that these memorials have been made to the parks this year in memory of, and list who they are in memory of. Like these 3 chairs are in honor of or memory of, and some are in honor of. And recognize the memorials, but I looked at, when we were working at Duffy Park, there's a bench under the existing building. Did any of you happen to see that bench? It needs to go, and it was as a memorial or as a donation, and the bench is irreparable, I believe. And, you know, then it gets funny, do you take this thing off, and do you have to buy another one to put it on? I mean, does the city then have to keep buying new benches? And that's where I
Because
don't know the
it's no
answer to
longer-
that.
You no longer have funding for another bench.
Right.
I think it's for the life of the bench or the chair.
That's what I think, but I think the people should know that. It's for the life of the bench or the chair, and we can notify you when the life of the chair, when it needs to be replaced, and if you choose to replace it, then your memorial will go back on it. But if you don't choose to replace it, I don't think for $350 that it has to be forever.
Yeah.
That's perpetual, because that's a burden to the city at that point.
Right, the Adirondack chairs were more than that.
Right, I'm not even saying the amount, it could be 500 or whatever, 600. It's not the amount, it's just how,
Well, number one, I don't know who would go after to find out who they should contact on that name plaque. It would, to me, it would mean changing the current city policy so that when people got a memorial, they knew it was only for the life of the item, which isn't the case now. Because otherwise, it'd be a nightmare. I mean, people die, people move away. How would you ever find?
yeah, yes, it would be hard. I mean, a lot of those, I think, you know, when you go for a walk, at this point, we still know most of those people, but, yes, it could become a nightmare.
Yeah.
Or the people may have moved away and they might not care either after.
But that could be something in the application for the memorial.
Right.
You list all of your information, and if we can't get a hold of you with the information that you've given, you know.
Or say, please contact us, John.
And how about, for now, to deal with the current situation, you remove the plaque and you have a centrally located plaque that includes all of those items that have been obsolete, you know, they're obsolete.
Yeah.
And then, well, yeah, but your memorial is listed still over here and not on the bench.
Well, that would satisfy somebody, but again, it would mean changing the current way things are done. So that's, what I'm saying is that's the approach we need to take.
Yes.
It's all well and good, but it really has nothing to do with the benches themselves. It's the way things are being done now.
And maybe people don't know, maybe they think it's just the life of the bench. I don't know what they think. You know, we haven't had that come up, but I thought,
Well, assume that they believe that it's forever.
Yeah, because
And-
they generally are.
Okay, and so then they say, well, where's my bench with the plaque on it? Say, well, your bench rotted away 10 years ago, and we have one plaque where all of them are listed, including yours. Take a look, here it is. And then they can start crabbing at you and come and beat you up.
but if you were explaining that beforehand, that it lasts the life of the bench.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that would be
So
the
they
current,
should-
yeah,
Yeah.
you put that in place now, but then what do you do for the
And I
past?
think people, for the most part, are reasonable. I don't think that they expect that the chair will last forever.
But what you're
But-
saying is it's just gonna be a policy change.
Yes, just address it.
Is there a policy?
Yeah,
Well, it's a policy because that's what we're doing. You know,
Right.
that's the
Yes.
precedent. We've
Right.
done it. You can't, it isn't, for Joe, we do one thing, for Beth, we do another thing. That's just,
right,
so it's the policy.
exactly.
And, you know, I guess it doesn't matter to me either way, but if people do a memorial generally, it's forever. That's makes it the memorial. But they should know. So,
But
you
it
know,
is
I
an
don't know.
expense. It is an added expense
Right.
for the city.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can't keep,
Because if the bench is gone, you still have to
There's-
put the plaque on something, you have to spend $350 to get the bench.
Or all you need to do is get another memorial and put 2 plaques on it.
well, that other person might not want 2
Right.
plaques to share the
Yeah.
bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, it gets tricky, so I think we should look at that.
I think so, too.
Katie, we should look at that and, because it got brought to light, like I said, at Duffy, I looked at that and I thought, is that bench just here because we're afraid to remove it because someone bought it? I mean, it's unusable.
But I wouldn't
It's
want my
unsafe.
dad's plaque on a crap.
No.
I wouldn't, you know. I
No.
want it
So
on
you
there.
change the policy now, so
Yes.
people who sign up now understand it's not forever. And then in the meantime, you try to figure out what you're gonna do with the benches that you have to throw away.
So the best value for your money for memorial is tracks. Keep that in mind.
Yes, yes, and that's the other thing, you know, the memorials we had talked about too could be basketball hoops. We could use more at Morton Park. They could be trucks for the Riverwalk. It could be a lot of things. Someone could have, a Lion could have bought those planters and had their name on that planter, because I think those, but there again, they won't last forever, but
And the thing is, you don't want plaques on everything.
no, you don't. Yeah, you don't.
Or the fish on the Riverwalk. That
It's nice.
that was from
Yeah.
Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, fish. Right. So we should talk a little bit more about that if anybody wants to.
Refer to maintenance committee.
Yeah, and defer to the maintenance committee and if anybody sees, like, she saw that great idea in another town. I mean, what are the other towns doing? What is their, it'd be good to ask a few towns, what is your policy? And I could try to do that, just ask on the memorial policy. What do the people think they're getting when they give that? Say, Ludington, Elk Rapids, Charlevoix, Harbor Springs. And what are they suggesting for memorials? And maybe they are never putting a plaque on anything, so let's just see what they're
Well, they
doing.
have the benches at the state park in Ludington, but I think that's the
Trucks.
tracks material.
Yeah, it lasts forever.
They last a little longer.
Well, you know, back in the day, wasn't such a thing.
Yeah,
If they're able to be contacted, if something has to be removed and it's not good anymore, maybe the families would want the opportunity to have that bench themselves and
that's true too.
take it off the city's hands and put it in their backyard.
In their
or
garden and
something.
repair it.
Right.
Yes. And some of the families, the ones at Fifth Avenue, did you see the one family there has refinished the bench and it doesn't match the other ones. It's like a beautiful piece of woodwork right there by the Fifth Avenue Beach Shelter House. And it's gorgeous and it was a memorial, but the parents are keeping that up and really keeping that up. So that's one example. They're actually, that bench will probably last forever because they're taking good care of it. And if a board breaks, I think they would replace it. So that's another way of doing it. You have this bench and if it falls apart.
But there should be a policy on that too, I would
Yes.
assume. I mean,
Yes.
You don't want different bunches.
You don't want, that bench is beautiful, but someone else may want a neon bench. So,
Right.
so,
I'm
yeah.
sure the city has a policy for that, wouldn't you think? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that'd be something else.
That's another, okay, we should work on this. Anything else that needs to be brought up?
Yes,
Karen.
we didn't do our tour of the parks this year,
That's right.
and we talked about it after the meeting last time.
Yes.
We were gonna bring it up tonight, so I'm bringing up that we need to do a tour of the parks. Because that's what our bylaws say.
A tour of the park.
Does
A
it
yearly
still
one.
say?
It says any time of the year, it doesn't
Anytime, okay.
say.
Does it have to be
Right.
any, can it be any parks? Do we want to tour,
It says just tour the parks.
does it have to be our parks, was my question.
The parks.
The parks. It doesn't say.
Take an
I just
annual
wonder.
bus
Oh, you
tour.
mean
or
go on a
actually,
road trip?
bus.
Go on a road trip or something. I mean, or do we want to go, what do we want to do about that? How do we want to handle that?
It's been a year since we did that, really?
It was
Yeah, it was last fall, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
We took a bus tour.
And actually, that was fun. Maybe we want to do that again. And maybe we could get a few more city council. We had Jermaine came,
So is it,
and Sarah came.
is it in our bylaws we have to do one a year?
Yes,
Yeah.
So we have to get it in before the end of this year?
that's the idea.
Okay.
Christmas lights. It's a little dark, I mean, that's the only bad part, we probably have to do it during the day, I don't think we would wanna do that at night.
Do we want to do it before it snows?
I think somebody should probably talk to Jeff.
Yeah,
And he's on vacation this week, you said.
He'll be back Monday.
I can ask Jeff what he wants to do about that, and would you wanna do it in the December? Would we wanna do it in December, it might be, which.
Well, if you're doing it during the day, that might ease the burden for you guys and everything. Because.
Might be cheaper, we could
We
probably
could
do
go
it.
visit Morton and Duffy and see the new updates.
Cents a person or $1, whatever they charge, we do it during the day, we just jump on it. Keep on it. Take us to the parks.
But next week is the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, we won't do it next
So,
year.
and
And then
after that-
sleigh bell weekend, so you might have to do it, if we did it, would it be possible to do it in the day, like at 3 or something? What time would, later
I
in the
think you
day?
probably have to talk to the people from out of town.
Yeah, and see when
Yeah.
Karen and Tim could do it when they're in town.
Because they might lean towards a Monday or a Friday.
Yeah, and they might be here for sleigh bell by chance.
Yeah.
As long as it's not during, when school gets out,
Right, that's,
that's my,
what time?
between 2:30 and 3 is,
Okay, so 3:30 would be better for you.
yes.
3:30 to 5:30, it's still light.
But last year, it seemed like it got dark before we were done.
We left later last year, was it evening, wasn't it?
5, I think we went 5.
Yeah.
That trolley from Travers where you pedal and you drink.
It might get colder.
That's whatever they call this.
Yeah,
So-
maybe that's a summer excursion.
Well, maybe we could even do it earlier in the day.
Okay,
Maybe we have a wine-fueled bus tour.
Just
we're gonna lose this job.
talk to Tim and Karen and see.
I'll talk and see
Yeah.
what Tim and Karen and Jeff want to do about it, and even the morning would probably be fine then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we'll make it
And
work.
and then let's decide, last year we kind of just did a drive-through. I think it's nice to kind of get out at some of the parks if it's not a blizzard, I would say.
Well, and then if we started earlier in the day, help, because it was dark out when we ended.
Yes, exactly. Okay,
Sounds good.
sounds good. I will check on that, get back, and see when we could do that. Anything else? Thank you, Karen, for bringing that up and keeping us following the bylaws.
Yeah, keeping us honest.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Lainey,
I don't have anything.
Karen, anything else?
I mentioned I'd like to try to get numbers for the movies in the park, but can we also, are we gonna ask Jeff to add in potentially basketball hoop additions to First Street so we can get them all matching to see if we can fit anything into the budget for next year?
I would like to.
Capital improvement.
That's capital improvements, and that's where maybe even the Hampton would donate to that. I thought it'd be kind of neat when you checked in, they say, we have basketballs available, there's right next door, stamp the Hampton on them, but, they got an abatement from the city. Maybe they would support the parks and buy us a couple hoops, is what I'm thinking, and then they provide their guests with the basketball to check out.
Because there's 4 that.
Shot in the
need to
dark,
be
but
replaced,
There's
and
4 that need
Jeff
that.
said they were actually close to 5,000
Yes, they are.
apiece.
Yes, 4 or 5.
That's 20,000. for
Yep. I don't think the Hampton would buy all of those, but if they would buy us 1 or 2.
Wait a minute, what were those numbers you?
Those prison grade basketball
You
things
saw
that we put in at
less.
First Street, they came out to be close to 5,000 each.
Oh, 5,000 each,
You saw those for like 3, right, John? Oh, less.
less than that.
Yeah.
Industrial.
These are for, just
Oh,
outdoor
that's what they
things.
call them.
Well, I think we want really good ones, though. I think we want the ones that do last. When we went up to Glen Arbor,
Worth the money.
it was worth the money, and they had used them in several parks for several years. The one guy had used them in Muskegon, and then he brought the idea up there. He said, that's one thing don't skimp on, that they do withhold. They do withstand.
Vandalism proof
Well, you've done your research, go with that.
They had a park architect. I mean, it was, they knew what they were doing, and it was beautiful. Anything else?
Sorry, that was it.
No,
Yeah.
that was good, thank you. Kelly?
I just wondered, Katie, do you know why the lights aren't working in the butterfly garden and the tree garden? You don't know why they're not working?
I think Brandon checked them last week.
I noticed that the marina
He
was.
checked the outlet and he said the outlets were working, so it must be the lights. And I think he let somebody at the DDA know that to check with the
I saw
contractor.
shine in the marina because
Okay.
half of the lights were
Okay.
not working, but now the marina works.
Oh,
But
okay,
now
okay.
the butterfly and.
Okay,
and
no, I
the
don't
tree
know
garden.
anything about the
Okay.
butterfly. But the marina is good, everything?
Yeah, everything's
Oh,
working.
oh,
good,
good, okay,
But not next to it.
okay. I didn't know that, so.
Okay, I was hoping.
We should follow-
I can ask Brandon to
Oh,
check,
those
yeah,
are
I can
so-
ask Brandon to check the power at the
Yeah, those
butterfly
have been
garden.
out for a few weeks now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we definitely want them for Thanksgiving and for the Christmas weekend, the light,
Oh, yeah.
that is such a plus. People coming to town will say those
Okay,
are a hit. Yeah.
That's it.
John?
Are they on the photo cell where they come out of
They're-
there?
They should be.
Yeah, well, that's great. I don't have anything. I'm good, thank you.
Liz?
I have nothing, thank you. Everybody, this is a great commission, I've said that before, but I saw that day at Morton's, and we are truly fortunate to all be together, so thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Support for that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.